Hello, I am Minecraft Phenom 08, and this is episode 22 of my Billions and Billions challenge. In today's episode, I am going to dive into the mod IndustrialCraft 2 with some help from the mod NuclearCraft. So let's get started. The first thing I should mention is that I have built a bunch of stuff in preparation for this episode, including a lot of the machines. And let's take a look at some of the recipes for the machines, because there is a little bit of complicated crafting. It's not too bad. It involves the compactor from the mod thermal expansion, and then some hammers and cutters. So let's take a look at the metal former, for example, because it uses a few of the different tricks here. So the basic machine casings, which are in most of the machines that I have built, require iron plates, and like I said, I get them from compactors. And then, for example, the bronze item casings, I'm actually able to make with forge hammers in my ME system. So, and the way you set that recipe up is pretty simple. You just have bronze plates and forge hammers, but you definitely need to do this, the or dictionary substitutes thing. And that's just so that the forge hammers that have actually been used before, say its uses would say 78 or whatever, would be able to be used by the system, and not just making a forge hammer for every time it makes a new plate or a new item casing. So let's see how many hammers I have in my system. So yeah, as we see here, I do have a hammer that has been used before. So let's go ahead and grab the machines and stuff. I did make a bunch of transformer upgrades because the mod does use a voltage system. Most of the machines cannot accept very much voltage, as it were. Anything above 32 EU per tick would explode most machines, or a lot of the machines anyways. So I have built these two reactors in the basement of this building. They both use the TBU fuel that I used in the previous episode, and they produce 9,040 RF per tick. Now, the EU they can produce is actually divide this number by 16, so it's something, I forget the exact number, but it's like 500 or 600 EU per tick, which is a lot of power, and that's why we're going to need the transformer upgrades in these machines. So let's get to actually putting down these machines. And actually, before I do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run glass fiber cable, which is the highest voltage cable in the mod IndustrialCraft. It is pretty easy to make. It just requires some pulverized silver, some energium dust, I think is what it's called, and some diamonds, pulverized diamonds for the energium dust. It's not too hard to make without the mod IndustrialCraft 2 to help you out. I'll just say that. So if you want to look up the recipe, just go ahead. It's fairly simple stuff, especially for me since I have a lot of resources at this point. So I'm not going to actually connect them up to the reactor, because what I want to do is I want to lay down my machines first. And I do kind of have an order I want to put them in. So the compressors are first. And they're going to take up the first 4 of the ME interfaces. These ME interfaces are already connected up to my ME system, so anything that I put adjacent to them I will have access to through my ME system, and so I will be able to automate things really easily here. So next I'm going to do the metal formers, and I'm going to have all of these metal formers be in the rolling mode. They have 3 different modes here: rolling, cutting, and extruding. I can do the extrusion essentially through hammers and cutting. So the extruding is to make things like cables, for example. Okay, so next I'm going to do the canning machine, and I actually will need to grab yet another water source here, but that's okay. So I do have one water source on me. What I want these canning machines, actually let's just have one of them be fluid and rich, and then the other be in basic canning mode. And so the inputs are pretty smart on the IndustrialCraft machines. If you cannot can something, regular can it, it will not allow you to input. And on the flip side, if you have it in fluid and rich mode and you try to throw something in there that cannot be enriched, it will not let it go in. At least I believe so. So let's go ahead and set up the next machine, which would be the ore washers. Like I said, I do need another water source back there, but I'll get that later. I don't think I'm going to be using the washing plants today, so yeah, I'm not going to worry about it for right now. So next I'm going to do the extractors. And just like I did with my thermal expansion machines, I am putting 2 machines to each ME interface. And that is just to speed things up if I order like a lot of items to be crafted at once. So lastly, I am going to put 2 thermal centrifuges, but I can't do that right now because I actually need my compressors. But before I actually do that, what I need to do is I need to throw in 4 transformer upgrades into all of these machines before I hook them up to the reactors and then turn them on, or else they will explode from excessive voltage. And then I also want to do some ejector upgrades. Now, to format these ejector upgrades, you don't have to format them first of all, but if you want to, you just right click on a certain side. So like I right clicked on the south side of the stone here. So now these are set up to, okay, I just configured it and then unconfigured it accidentally. So I'm doing half of them to the north side, half of them to the south side. So right now I'm facing north, and all of these machines along this row right here, they need to eject to the north side, and then these machines on the back row need to eject to the south side. So these need to be north side. So for all of the machines on this side of the ME interface, I guess that we're south side of the ME interfaces need 4 transformer upgrades and then 1 ejector upgrade to eject to the north side. So I'm going to go ahead and do this off camera. It's going to take just a little while, and once I have all of the machines with the proper upgrades, I will be right back. I now have all of my machines configured with the proper upgrades, so let's go ahead and hook them up to power and then turn the reactors on, and hopefully nothing explodes. If something explodes, I did something wrong, or I misinterpreted the rules, as Eric Hartman would say. So let's go ahead and turn these things on. Okay, so no explosions. No explosions. That's good. Let's take a look. Are they getting power? They are, so that's pretty fantastic. Yeah, and they're taking a little while to heat up or get to full power, and that's because I have 16 machines over here hooked up to this particular reactor, and then I have 8 machines hooked up to this reactor. So the next thing I want to do is I want to set up a few compressor recipes, because I need that for today's episode. I would like to make 2 MFSUs, which are the largest batteries, and then I want to make some thermal centrifuges as well. So let's go ahead and set up some compressor recipes here. So let's type in compressor. I know I normally don't do a whole lot of crafting here, but okay, so there's a few recipes I would like to do, and they're not showing up, unfortunately. So this is one of them, Energium Dust to Energy Crystal. So that's one. The next, I think there are 4 of them. So the next one is the carbon plate from raw carbon, and then advanced alloy from mixed metal ingot. And I have all of the preliminary things crafted. And then I think there's just one more, if I can find it. Okay, I must have gone past it. I will probably be using this recipe, and I might be using that recipe. I'm not actually 100% sure. So there's one more energy crystal I thought I could make in the compressor here. Okay, so I'm just going to have to do that later manually. So first off, I need a mixed metal ingot. So let's get rid of those. I don't need those right now. I'm not sure if the recipe is 1 or 2. Okay, it's just 1. So the recipes do take a little while. So the raw carbon mesh is another one. So I do have this automated. It's pretty non-IndustrialCraft stuff, actually, up until this point. And then we'll throw that in there. And then the Energium Dust. We need 9 Energium Dust. And you use this to also make the glass fiber cable. So let's actually make 18 of it. It comes in batches of 18. So you need 9 of it to make an energy crystal. So let's throw that in there. And then the last one we can't do quite yet. So let's go ahead and run over here and set those patterns. And the reason why I have 8 compressors set to 4 different ME interfaces is that I'm going to have 4 patterns for the compressors, and I want the compressors to be able to operate as quickly as possible. And by having them each set to their own thing, their each pattern or their own pattern, then it should go faster. It should make the crafting faster. So let's go ahead and see. Okay, so we should have an energy crystal, so that's fantastic. And then we should have a carbon plate, I think it's called. It's something to do with carbon. Carbon plate, and then advanced alloy ingot, or nope. It's advanced alloy. It's just advanced alloy. So these recipes are actually 1, 1, and then 9. So let's go ahead and set them. There's the first one. Here's the second one. And here is the third one. So let's find the compressors here. They should be right here. There they are. And let's go ahead and try to make... I know I can't make an MFSU yet because there's one more thing. I can't make the Lapitron crystals. Okay, so if I go ahead and do this, it should let me go ahead and craft those automatically. I feel like I've had issues with this before. Sometimes it seems to work, sometimes it doesn't. Okay, so I need an MFE. So that shouldn't be a problem. Theoretically. Because I can go ahead and do that. And then I think there was one more thing I needed. I need the advanced machine casing. So I should be able to go ahead and make that now, because now I can make the carbon plates and the advanced alloy. And actually, I didn't need to do this. I don't like to use the or dictionary substitutes if I don't have to. Some things just don't like to work without the or dictionary substitutes, though, for whatever reason. So let's go ahead and do that. And then I just need the MFE. So I'm not sure if this will go ahead and craft or not. It might not want to. Okay, so that's going to take just a little while, if it's even going to do it at all. I'm not sure if it will. Certainly it's going to try to craft the energy crystals. I'm not sure if it's actually going to be able to use them or not. Which is kind of unfortunate. Okay, so what I'm going to do, because this is taking a while, because I don't have any overclocker upgrades as of yet, I'm going to wait on this to craft, and then I will be right back. Okay, as I somewhat anticipated, it is not able to actually craft the MFE, which I think there is a workaround here. So what I can do is, let's go ahead and manually craft this. I should have the energy crystals in my system now that that is done. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to actually craft this. We're going to actually grab the pattern I already made, and we're going to go ahead and make an not or dictionary substitute. We're going to go ahead and make a pattern like this, telling it that it can make an MFE this way. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a little something different here. So let's get the other pattern. Okay, let's see if I can remember how to do this. I know there's a way to do this, and I think I remember, but I'm not 100% sure here. So what we're going to do is we're going to set one of the patterns here. Okay, so it should be this. No, maybe it's this pattern here. And let's put this... This is the regular crafting. I might have that. Okay, this is the regular crafting pattern. And then this right here is the custom creation pattern. So we're going to go ahead and put this in here. And let's see if this goes ahead and actually makes this now. So let's go ahead and tell it to make an MFE. I think that's how you do this, but I'm not 100% sure. Once again, those energy crystals are going to take a while to craft. So... I'm going to cut away, and hopefully this goes ahead and actually makes this time. Okay, so we are to the moment of truth. Let's see if it will create it. We are on the last energy crystal here. If it is going to create it, it should create it right here, and it should last for... Yep, it made it. Cool. So that is how you do that. You put the actual crafting pattern into a molecular assembler, and then you put the custom pattern that you built in the ME interface, and it should be able to build it. So this seems to work with the IndustrialCraft items that have energy values. So, for example, the energy crystals and the Lapitron crystals, anything that needs those in the crafting patterns, I'm going to need to create in that fashion. So let's go ahead and do the MFSU now. And I'm actually going to have to create one of these before I can. And actually, I don't want to set it that pattern. I wanted to use the substitute pattern. So let's go ahead and use substitutes. Let's hold on to that pattern. Actually, so I have the MFE. Let's tell it to make everything else we need. So the advanced circuit, that shouldn't take, I should have done the Lapotron crystals first, to be honest, because they will take the longest. And I'm not even sure they'll be able to be made. I'll probably have to do the same thing with the Lapotron crystals so that my system can actually craft those. But who knows, maybe I'm wrong here. And I don't even know why I did that. So that's also going to take a little while to craft. So like I said, I'm probably going to have to do this wonky workaround so that I can craft the Lapotron crystals. Same workaround that I did with the MFE. But I'm going to wait for these to craft up, and once they are crafted, I will be right back. So I have all of my Lapotron crystals crafted up, and for whatever reason, it's given me issues. It doesn't want to automatically make them, even though I use the same method that I used to make the MFEs. So I'm going to have to investigate that, but I'm not going to worry about that right now because I don't really need a whole lot of MFSUs. So let's go ahead and set this pattern, or let's actually grab an MFSU if I can. And for whatever reason, I can't. So I should have the Lapotron crystals in there. So let's make sure I do have enough Lapotron crystals. Let's see, do I have the advanced machine casing? I do. I don't have an advanced circuit, that's what it is. So actually that shouldn't take very long to craft. Let's go ahead and grab that, and then I should be able to grab an MFSU and make the secondary pattern. So there's our MFSU. Let's go ahead and make this into a pattern like this. And let's go ahead and see if we can make an MFSU automatically. I do have all of the requirements to make another one of these. So let's go ahead and let's just move this out. This needs the creation pattern. And then this right here, let's throw in the crafting pattern. And let's tell it to make an MFSU. It should need to craft up a casing. And okay, so for whatever reason, it says there's only one available Lapotron crystal. Oh, because there is, because the rest of them are in my system here. So let's go ahead and try this again. It should just need, like I said, the casing here, and then it already made the circuit. So let's find a new home for this pattern that I took out. That'll be fine. And let's see if it made the MFSU, or if it's trying to. Okay, so we're still crafting a couple of the things. Let's go to the building here and let's install this first MFSU. These are rather large batteries and should be rather helpful, especially if I get into making a lot of stuff really, really quick. So the batteries are sighted. It will have one output side, and I need to make sure that the output side is to the bottom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get under here, and I could actually build a wrench, but I don't have one. Let's put the battery here, and the side with the dot is the side in which it is trying to output energy to. So that's fantastic. We have a battery now, and then let's see if we have another one. We do. Okay, so cool. For whatever reason, the Lapotron crystals are giving me grief, but nothing else seems to be having an issue. I'm not really sure why that's going on. So let's go ahead and set this to be down, and there it is. So what I'm going to do next, and the last part of today's episode, is I'm going to set up a system to automatically make the coolant that I need to make overclocker upgrades. Overclocker upgrades are upgrades that you can put into IndustrialCraft machines to speed them up, as currently they are really, really slow. The only downside is that they use a whole lot more power, but I'm not going to worry about that too much because I have a decent amount of power with these two reactors here. So the first thing I need is a fluid solid canning machine, and let's set that up, say, right here. It needs to not be up against this ME interface. And I'm going to go ahead and drop down a cable from up above, and I should have access to my ME system from up there because I have a dense covered or dense ME conduit up there. So let's go ahead and throw this in here. So I'm going to give it an acceleration card, and I'm going to tell it to eject lapis lazuli dust in here. So we're going to set this to fluid enrich mode. and we are going to put a water container beside it. So that's cool. And then let's see here. Oh yeah, I want 2 things to be ejected here. So let's actually grab a card. And actually, I need a capacity card and a crafting card because I do want my system to be crafting buckets as well. I totally forgot about that. So we're telling it to eject empty buckets into there and lapis lazuli dust. This should work theoretically. So all it needs now is power, but before I hook it up to power, I need to remember to use transformer upgrades. I need 4 of them. So there we go. Now let's hook it up to power. So I can do this pretty simply by just digging this way. And let's go over here. I will want to cover this up at some point, so that's why I'm trying to make it neatish. Okay, so what this will do is it will make IndustrialCraft 2 coolant, and it'll put it in buckets. So I need a ejector upgrade. And I don't know why I forgot. Okay, so which side do we need? We need out the south side. So let's get one of these. Let's get this, and let's get a black hole unit. So what this will do is it will give me buckets of IC2 coolant. And so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to set up a storage bus. And I had to fish around for that word. So let's actually get rid of everything else that we don't need right now, which is like everything except for this conduit here. We're going to set this to be negative priority so that it only gets the inputs from the fluid solid canning machine, and it's going to hold buckets of IC2 coolant. Meanwhile, let's actually run over here and start setting a pattern for my overclocker upgrades so that I can start making these bad boys. Okay, so obviously that system is going to run all of the time. The system will be able to craft lapis lazuli dust whenever it needs, and it will be able to also craft buckets as it needs. So let's go ahead and look up the overclocker upgrade. And first off, we need to set this recipe right here. So it is buckets of IC2 coolant, and let's actually set this to be or dictionary recipe as well. So I must not have any tin plates. I thought I made some tin plates between episodes, but apparently I didn't. So let's go ahead and tell my system, make 1,000 of those. Now that we have this pattern, let's go ahead and throw it in the ME system. And let's make some overclocker upgrades. And then I can actually show you some of them in action. So the overclocker upgrades are made like this. Once again, we are going to use the dictionary substitute recipe. I'm really hoping that I don't have to do the funky workaround to get this to work. But it does have a durability meter on those cooling cells, so I might need that. I'm not 100% sure there. So let's go ahead and tell it to make overclocker upgrades. Fantastic, we have some. So it does tell you the individual the statistics here. So it decreases process time to 70% of normal and then increases power to 160. If we use 2 of them, it's 49 and 256. Let's run over here and throw them into that system and speed it up. Because why not? It's the only system really working right now. So let's do that. So obviously we can see the progress bar. It looks like it goes up by 3 to 5% at any given time. If we throw these in here, it is going up a lot faster. And that's pretty clear. Cool. So we're getting lots of buckets. Let's throw in even more overclocker upgrades. Let's do a couple more if we can. We'll do 4. And I say a couple, which traditionally means 2, and then I go ahead and make 4. But anyways, let's make more. So this is very clearly faster now. It is using quite a bit more power, but the thing is, it's the only machine running right now, and we do have quite a bit of power, like I said. So I think this is a good wrapping up point for today's episode. So in today's episode, I dove into the mod IndustrialCraft 2 with the help from the mod NuclearCraft, providing the energy. NuclearCraft is a really cool mod that can provide both RF energy and EU energy. EU obviously for IndustrialCraft 2. So that was a nice jumping off point. I made a bunch of machines, I set them up, and now I can go ahead and automate these machines. And then lastly, I set up the system to automatically make buckets of IC2 coolant, and that will be nice because I will be able to make overclocker upgrades for all of these machines here and any machines that I need in the future. I know I didn't get around to making the thermal centrifuge machines, but I will go ahead and do that between episodes. It's just pretty simple crafting recipe from here on out now that I have all of the IndustrialCraft 2 machines. So yeah. So anyways, if you enjoyed today's episode, definitely feel free to drop a like down below. And if you like watching automation type stuff in modded Minecraft, definitely consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. Anyways, signing off, I am Minecraft Phenom 08, and I will see you next time.